Police officers and first responders wear badges to let their communities know they are here to protect and serve. But it comes at a price. Samantha Horwitz and John Salerno work with police departments across the country to bring valuable recovery, insight resources, and workshops. A Badge of Honor TV brings those professionals to you so we can come together and revitalize communities through a better understanding of what's at stake and what's required for repair. So take a load off and turn up your TV. It's about to get real.
Hey, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam. We are powered by the OBBM network, and happy St. Patty's Day to all. Schaumburg, don't you know, and all those fine. Hopefully, you'll find your pot of gold in today's episode, because I'll tell you, our guests today are definitely a pot of gold that you want to dig into. Sam, how you doing today?
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day, John. And once again, thank you guys so much for, just hanging in there while we are working out their tech. I just have to ask, John, are you seeing us in full screen, or are we kind of like in a...
I'm seeing you. I lost some weight. I'm seeing us skinny today.
Yeah.
And let me see. I'm looking at it. Let me see how it looks on our channel. Our channel itself looks good. We've gained weight on our channel. So
as long as we're coming through on our YouTube and the Facebook, like full screen, and things
it looks like it is.
Things are not cut off. I'm getting some I'm being told right now that our Facebook and our Instagram has failed once again. I am so sorry. All we can do is apologize and say the tech will be finished, but we are streaming live. If you're waiting for us on X, on LinkedIn, we got a YouTube going, we got Rumble, we got OBBM. So I'm trying, we're trying. Just bear with us. We will get this all fixed, and it doesn't take away from the information that we're gonna get tonight. But before we dive in there, just to some really bad news. Casey King, he was a firefighter in Garland, just up the road from me here. We've had them in our workshops, John, and Casey had been fighting for a long time with an illness, and unfortunately he lost his battle. So rest easy, Red Warrior, and just prayers and the support go out to all of Casey's family, to the Garland Fire Department, to everybody who knew Casey, and it's never easy.
Sam, just on this show alone, because we deal so much with Garland Police Department and and the Rowlett Police Department, just those two departments alone that we're close to, I can't imagine the rest that are all battling some sort of issues, either be it a critical incident or the loss of a member in your department. That brings a lot of stress, a different type of mental stress to the inner family of those departments. And we've seen it so much with critical incidents and losses of personnel due to different things. And, I have to wonder if the departments, and Garland is great, all around on what they do, but other departments that fail in their mental health wellness programs, are they doing anything on something like this? Are they giving the support that many members who've been close and worked hard with these employees, the treatment that they need? Another topic that maybe one day we got to hit on.
Yeah, and you know what? It's being there for anybody that needs help. It doesn't matter if it's the line of duty, death, and illness. Whether a member took their own lives, whatever it is. It's all about having the support there for our first responders. And our guests here tonight, Tammy and Dan, they get it. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to everybody watching and listening on your favorite podcast app. But what they took was the stuff that they went through and now understand, and they're helping to heal our first responders out there. So without further ado, Tammy and Dan Roach, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV.
Hey, welcome, guys.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having us on.
You bet. And, I want to start off just by, we'll go right to Dan since we lost a couple of minutes with this craziness of trying to go live. Dan, you're retired law enforcement. Just take us through a little bit about your background.
So I'm retired from 31 years of law enforcement. I spent my first 26 with the Illinois State Police, and most of that was in the Division of Criminal Investigation. So I spent a majority of my state police career in criminal investigations. And the first half of that was mostly undercover narcotics and gangs. And then the second half was largely a lot of violent crime units. I was in charge of the Chicago metro area for some years for the criminal investigations part of the state police. So we were a very, very busy operation. It was great, wonderful, worked with fantastic people. And then I spent 5 years after I retired from state with the Schaumburg Police Department as the deputy chief there. And that's a suburb of Chicago metro area. And then I retired in 2018, I think it was. And we've been working, since that time as a consultant and teacher, do a lot of consulting on officer-involved shooting investigations and training, and of course we started up our nonprofit, the Cornerstone Retreat Center for First Responders.
Yeah, and Tammy, you were right there this whole time. You're in the church. You're an ordained reverend.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have that right? And
Yeah.
But you're walking with Dan through his entire law enforcement career, and tell everybody watching and listening about your background.
Yeah, thank you. So Dan and I have been married for 25 years. So for this year. So for the vast majority of that, we were together. I think I was fortunate to miss his undercover years and come into the picture right after that. I am an ordained pastor, and I serve primarily as a chaplain to first responders, and primarily with Cornerstone. And I also am the MAP, which is one of the unions in our area. I serve as their chaplain as well. And then I do peer support and do the training and teaching along with Dan. So we do a lot. We do a lot together.
Yes, we do.
And I think a good portion of that is because we've experienced a lot of this together, and we've grown. They talk about post-traumatic growth, and so we've had our own experiences, and we've learned and grown from that. And we want to take what we've learned, and we want to help. Peer to peer. We want to help other first responders know that there's hope and there's healing.
Yeah, well, you're probably blessed that you missed his undercover narcotic years.
Yes.
My wife the same way. She kind of missed that aspect, which is probably a good thing.
Yes.
That, because in the undercover world, a lot of spouses do not stick around. It is a tough detail to be part of. You got to really indulge yourself for safety. But as an ordained minister, reverend, and an Illinois cop, I'm sorry, I always bring levity to this.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm getting flashbacks of the Blues Brothers.
Yes. That's okay. That's okay, Pat.
Let's go see the nun, and there you go. But how did you guys, as a couple, you weren't there in the beginning. How did you guys meet?
So I was actually in the banking world at the time, and he had come and was doing like new signature cards for his undercover unit, and that is how we met. But it was a couple years later, before we actually ran into each other at a big race in the Quad Cities. 22,000 people running the Big 7 that year, and we ran into each other twice, and it was history ever since then. So
Paths
it
cross
was
for a reason.
pretty nice.
Paths cross for a reason, and look at what you guys are developing and doing for others, which is just an amazing aspect. You see that God works in mysterious ways, and put you two together for this wonderful retreat that you guys have.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that retreat when we come back from our first break. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Forget Zoom, try Meetin. Meetin is a brand new video meeting service. And not only is Meetin simpler and easier to use and more powerful, Meetin also has the right values. Here at Meetin, we believe in freedom. We believe in privacy. We believe in America. And we are apolitical. Now, to get your free forever version of Meetin, just go to meetin.com, spelled this way, and then where it says promo code, type in the word special. That's your promo code, okay? So go to meetin.com, type in the word special, and you'll get Meetin free forever. I'm Rick Raditz, and I look forward to serving you as a customer of Meetin.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV, powered by the OBBM Network with John and Sam, and our very special guests, Tammy and Dan, with Cornerstone. It's Cornerstone Retreat Center. I want to make sure I got the center in there. Cornerstone Retreat Center. These out of department centers and retreats work wonders for many of our first responders, but they do not know how or what to expect when they get there. Can you fill us in on what the retreat brings to our first responders?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a place to connect with nature, to connect with one another, and to reconnect with the self. So we offer fishing, we offer walking trails, we have a couple pavilions for family picnics. And it's just a beautiful space to really get in touch. And part of that behind that is that we know that nature and being out in nature and being part of the created world really can offer healing greater than in a greater capacity than doing things inside. So right now it's serving as a park for first responders and their families. And we ask people to register to come onto the property so that we know who is on property, and we can keep tabs of that. So we offer a safe environment. It's 40 acres of just rolling meadows and a fishing pond, and it's just a really beautiful place to be. Every once in a while, we'll get pictures of even this winter of people out there with their families, enjoying the facilities. So. And it's in development. So right now, again, it's that park-like setting, and then we're adding some accommodations to that with the hope of building a meeting center so we can host events for seasons instead of the primary seasons that we can have in Illinois.
Well, is the 40 acres strictly for first responders, or could anybody? It's private property of yours that it's strictly for first responders to come into, right?
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely. So it's for first responders, fire, police, dispatchers.
Park? Is it a park? But me and Sam talk about that all the time. Nature really heals a lot.
Yeah.
Being in the house is just not a place. You get into your own head. To be out and just enjoy the sunshine. Yes. And enjoy the trails is absolute healing.
Yeah, and one of the things that's in development that I'm really excited about particularly is that it was once part of this property was once a 9-hole golf course. So the vision is to turn that into a fitness golf course. So it offers the walking trail through that, and then in each one of the whole tee-off spots, we'll have some sort of body weight challenge that'll coordinate into and I'm just going to throw this out there. If you can do 50 push-ups, that's a par 1. Or is that a right golf term?
Yeah.
I don't play golf. I just hack.
Yeah, Same, but utilize the really neat things that are already on the property, that people even know the property, what it's for, encouraging physical health along with that. And this is something that they can bring their families along with them. So, they can do fitness together, they can walk, they can run, body weight challenges, which of course we know is really big for resiliency.
Yeah, and you guys have programs that you're doing right now. I mean, if folks go to your website, I'll put it up right now for everybody watching. It is cornerstoneretreatcenter.com, and listening on your favorite podcast, like I just said, cornerstoneretreatcenter.com. And take us through some of the courses that you guys offer.
So some of the our services, which are what we say are off property, we go to agencies and departments all over, really the northern half of the state of Illinois and also in Iowa. And so one of our main services is peer support. So we do a lot of peer support for all kinds of first responders, for police, for fire, for dispatch, for corrections.
Military as well.
And a lot of these people are military, as you know, many military go into first responders. So
right.
we deal with a lot on all those levels. So we're very busy with the peer supports. We also will do critical incident stress debriefs after teams or agencies have been involved in particularly traumatic incidents. And then she does the chaplain services. We both provide spiritual direction. We're both trained in spiritual direction for individuals. And then really we're doing a lot of teaching now, which is not something we originally thought we were going to do, but we're finding out to really meet our mission that we can really get out to many, many more first responders and spouses through educating and training. So we are offering, we do a 3-day peer support training class where we're training first responders to be peer supporters. So, it's a force multiplier, major time. And then we also teach a resiliency course, stress and trauma management resiliency course, which is a 4-hour course. And we do that at a bunch of local agencies and departments. So we're really putting a lot of education out there. And we have a couple more classes and programs that we're teaching as well.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the resiliency course is we teach that to the departments, but we also teach that as it's built to last together. So we do it also with the spouses, so they know what to expect. We teach a lot of relationship, communication skills in both of those courses. And as Dan had mentioned, it's not something that was not our primary, was not one of our first things that we planned on doing with the retreat center. But what we're finding is it's so transformational. And we really, we put people through a lot in 3 days. And it's a lot of perspective taking and retrospection and communication skills. And people come out of there transformed, and we come out with a bigger family.
Well, and that's what it's all about. We talk about the safety net that you now have, and your family has grown after our 8-hour workshop. And it is true because, we are one big family, no matter if you're on the blue line, the red line, the green line, the yellow line, whatever line you're on. And sometimes we forget that, hey, we got to talk to each other. So the peer support's so important. I mean, everything that you talked about is critical. When we come back from our next break, Tammy, I want to dive into, before we went live, we were talking about the religious aspect of what you do and how you help. So after these messages, folks, we will be right back.
Look, when you need to respond to an aggressive situation to protect yourself, your family, or your property, understanding your firearm and legal position are critical. Officers know your skills are only as good as your commitment to training. So know what you're doing. So when you're in a vulnerable situation, we can count on your response. Whether you're a beginner or a licensed gun carrier, Carry in Texas offers basic firearms training, Texas permitless carry courses, license to carry, and basic 2A courses so you can understand the responsibilities, situational awareness, and learn the technical skill required when you carry your firearm. Go to carryintexas.com to find the right course for you. Join me, former United States Secret Service agent Samantha Horwitz, on the range for beginner basics, LTC prep, and range practice. Go to carryintexas.com today. That's carryintexas.com.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam, with Tammy and Dan, with Senator Stone Retreat Center.
Cornerstone.
See,
That's
this is
close,
why
John.
this is why she doesn't allow me
We're
to
gonna have
talk.
flashcards.
I even write it down and I keep throwing it up.
You got it, brother. Don't worry about it.
That's a big. If any officers out there and you are battling with memory problems, if you are battling with you just can't read things correctly, this is a sign of a stress issue. It's just too much cortisol into your brain. You can't retain things. That's a sign that you may need some treatment down the line or right now. And getting back out into nature with you guys will help you heal from that and not be embarrassed like me, forgetting things every 2 seconds. So
I love it.
I know the feeling, John.
I could be blaming it on age. But before we left, you were telling me how beautiful the 40 acres of park-like setting it is, and the different the 9-hole golf course or the different exercise areas that you're planned. But Sam wanted to talk about more of the spiritual aspect that you bring that really uplifts and inspires people.
Yeah, we believe, so as far as resiliency, there's lots of areas of wellness, and we really believe that relational, that spiritual, the mental, emotional, and the physical are all what really bolster one's ability to resist these challenging times. What seems to be the missing link for a lot of people is their spiritual health and wellness. And studies show that people who live more spiritually rich lives are able to battle their anxiety greater, less depression. They're actually healthier people overall. And so that really is an aspect that we try to bring into our courses, as well as what we offer on the property. And we're not talking, when we talk about spirituality, we're not talking about necessarily religion or strict dogma, but what we're talking about, but religion and rules of life, how you live out your spiritual life, are often parts of that. So we're not, when we talk about spirituality, we're talking about a chaplain, we're not being a chaplain. It's not talking about pushing a religion or proselytizing your beliefs. It's about getting people to understand that your spirituality is what drives your purpose and meaning. It's what, when someone's involved in a difficult situation, what often happens is moral injury. I mean, very, very few people, very few first responders get on the job thinking they're going to have to kill somebody, or recognizing the spiritual damage that can have. And the reason that happens is that moral injury is because it goes against your value system. And so it's deeply convicting. So when someone goes through moral injury, if it's not dealt with, then that can lead to helplessness and to hopelessness. And that, of course, we know what the outcome of that is, which is too often it's that suicidal ideation and the suicidal intention when people feel helpless and hopeless. So that's really why we feel that spiritual aspect is so important. When someone's often in a critical incident or a traumatic event, they go through an existential crisis often, and then they start to question their spirituality and those big questions, especially for Christians and those of the major religions, is if there's a God, why would this happen? Or why would a good God allow this to happen? And so as people wrestle with that, it's good to have someone to sit with and to be able to let them process through. So that's a big part of even what we can offer through the spiritual direction aspect as well.
I think it's so important because, like John and we talk about that, people heal in different ways. They want their questions answered in different ways. They want to sit in different rooms that have different perspectives. And so because we're not all the same, having that, I think is really important.
I think you clarified it. I think you clarified it perfectly, because as mental health has a stigma to it, the chaplain service within these departments have a stigma to them because people think it's all about religion when it's not. It's about the spirituality. And you really, you couldn't have defined it better.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what when we were talking before, is to encourage people to utilize the chaplains, have chaplain services available. And they should be there as a non-anxious presence, someone who can sit with you and listen and talk without proselytizing, but encourage you to dive deeper into your own spiritual beliefs and your faith system, and encourage those spiritual practices that strengthen your spiritual beliefs.
And one thing we've definitely found boots on the ground, especially like with peer support, critical debriefs, or even the people we meet during our teaching, is that we found, like for peer supports, I got to say probably at least 80 of our peer supports end up in discussions of a spiritual type nature, and it could be after somebody's been involved in the shooting, badly injured, somebody in their squad committed suicide. They were dealing with dead children, multiple fatalities. I mean, all of it, right? And you're sitting with these people, and so often, or maybe they're having hard problems at home, and all of it together, and it's just overwhelming. And they're just, they're questioning, why are they doing what they're doing? There's very often, especially the last few years with the riots and all that, questioning, it's community betrayal. Why do I still do this when they hate us? Or organizational betrayal. That is a huge theme we see with so many people that we work with and we help, is they feel like they're being betrayed by their organization, right? And then, of course, you have the really the moral injury that occurs from seeing and experiencing things that normal civilians don't experience. And with all of that, very, very, very much they can go into existential crisis and have these questions. And the number one thing for them to be able to do is to be able to talk with somebody they can trust and who's not going to judge them. So what we do, we say basically, is we bring them from silence to support, whatever support it is they need. But we're that bridge to get them from that isolation to help.
That is well said. I take notes during the show, and that's a writer downer.
That's a writer downer.
Hopefully it's not a downer.
Not that kind of downer.
Sam, did you feel the passion in both in those that last 5 minutes between Tammy and Dan? Did you feel the passion in this?
It's because they've walked it, right?
Yes.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like we always talk about using, the what was the worst time in our life, but the best teaching that came out of those experiences. And it is vitally important, just listening to both of you, that we also, you guys include the family in this, because the family serves right alongside. And I know, we probably hit on this with a lot of our guests, but we've realized if we're all in this together, and that includes our spouses and our kids, what do you guys have specifically for spouses, maybe not together with the first responder, to help them understand why we kind of are the way we are?
Yeah. So right now it comes through that resiliency course, that Built to Last Together course, and where we bring the couples in together. We share, about resiliency. We make them aware of the statistics, understand. It's really important for people to understand what's going on in the body of first responders, and that traumatic response and that hypervigilance, and why that happens and why they seem different. And it's biophysical. It's not just a mental thing that's going on, or emotional. It's really a change that's happening in their body. So we explain all that. And then we go through and talk about how to communicate well with one another. What is it, and what kind of questions, the how, the what, the where, and the when, and how to have those preset conversations, how much to share, and to just be really cognizant of, even if you don't think you're bringing your work home with you, you are in some form.
Absolutely. The biophysical is very important. When we come back from our next quick break, let's talk about that, because I think that's why it goes along extremely well with doing this in nature. There's a whole rhythm. So we'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned, everybody.
Leftovers again? It's time for something we haven't had in a long time. It's time for something right. It's time to make the right choice. OBBM Network TV is always the right choice. Choose right.
Hey, welcome. That was a quick break.
Sure
Sure.
was.
That's a station identification, right? The 19-second.
I just love that commercial. Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam and Tammy and Dan with Cornerstone Retreat Center.
You got it.
That's right.
I'll get there. You know, we talked about the grounds. We talked about the spiritual aspect, the stigma, and how it inspires many. The one question before we jump into the moral compass that we were going to talk about, Tammy, do you have a lot of people that come up to you and say, like, I want to speak, but I'm not Christian or I'm not Catholic, right? That,
Yes.
you know, of a different faith, and you have to bring this to them. I'm glad you we're outing this to all our law enforcement community, that you don't have to be of certain faith to reach out to any department chaplain. So thank you again for that. That was just on my mind.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the moral compass.
No, yeah, we were talking about the biophysical.
Biophysical aspect. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. That's your.
So what? And I'm sure you've heard of the book, like Kevin Gilmartin, Emotional Support for Law Enforcement, or Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement. He does a great job describing, some of the neurological and biophysiological aspects of stress and trauma. And Dr. Vanderkolk in his book, The Body Keeps the Score. There's tons of great information out there. And what we try, and whether it's in peer support or in teaching, group support or whatever, we want everybody to understand, hey, you are, your behavior is changing, maybe your personality, your cognitive abilities, your relationships, they're all changing, not just because you're weak or you're a bad person or you become a mean, angry, whatever. There's biophysiological aspects. All of this impacts all of our being. And so if we can be aware of that and understand that the stress and the trauma that we're exposed to has these biophysiological impacts on us that result in essentially permanent fight or flight, which is hypervigilance, right? And one of the big problems that many of us have had, especially old school, is we claim that we don't bring our work home with us, right? And I've said it, and I've heard many others say it. I leave my work life away from my home life, and it's completely that. And that's noble, and it's misguided, because even if we don't bring any of the stories home, we bring back the agitation, we bring back the fear, we bring back the sadness, we bring back the anger. Oh, yeah. And then, so all of that comes home with us, and it does impact our families. And that's why, we learn that from our own situation, that, I wouldn't come home and tell stories, but, I may be physically there, but I wasn't there. Right. And that's what happens with a lot of us. So if we can educate, all parties, family members and the first responders themselves, they can become aware. And if you're aware, you can do something about it. And that's the beauty of education and training.
One of the other things we tell our first responders too is that we do a lot of talking about spouses, significant others, partners, and how you communicate with them. And then, together you can age appropriately, communicate with your kids. And there's a lot of people who are very skilled in helping families with that. But what's often forgotten about too is the parents. no matter how old you are, you will always be your parents' kids, and they will notice these changes. And it's good to have these this educational piece and this communication with them as well, so that they understand what's going on and they don't worry about you so much. And it's good to communicate, or even for them to, when all of a sudden they realize the OODA loop. Well, you used to pay attention when you were at dinner, and now you don't see me. Well, that's, if they understand why the OODA loop's happening, why I seem distant, what I'm really looking for, and what's just automatically happening, because that's what I'm trained to do, to keep people safe and to keep, I was worried about him cussing, and to keep yourself safe.
Repeat that word again. The OODA loop? It's the
OODA loop.
Yes. So that when you observe, or I'm never
Orient.
decide,
An act.
and act.
Educated me, OODA loop. Okay.
And as you go through, you're always OODA-ing.
I mean, that's our nature as first responders, right? Especially
Exactly.
as law enforcement, is we see the world through this filter of threat assessment.
Yep.
And of course, that alone, that mindset alone impacts our neurotransmitters, our hormonal levels, and basically puts us in a consistent or permanent level of what I just hypervigilance. Yes. See, there's a cognitive thing, John. But that impacts us, and we bring that home with us.
Well, you bring up such, because I suffer from that, and I'm sure Sam does on some way, but she trains a lot better than I do. But that constant scanning for threats, it almost feels like you're a radar, just 360ing all the time.
Yes.
And how do you really enjoy what life is all about when you're on a plane of constant worry?
Yes.
It's a horrible way to be. It's a horrible way to live. And that's why going out in the nature really, and a secure place, where you feel safe, and you guys are giving that safe zone where you're surrounded by your peers. You don't have to worry about a threat.
Right.
And that right there alone, gives you that sense of that wonderful sense of what life is all about.
Yeah. And it's really, even as, the center continues to develop and we're able to offer more services, and even just be able to have a couple of spots, where people can bring their own RV and get away and know that they're not parked at an at a campground next to somebody they arrested. And they're like, I just need to get away for a couple of days. And then, so that's sort of a secondary as we develop it to offer those cabins for the specific retreats. It's still an important thing to do, or to know you can take your kids to a park. And you can play games with them, you can fish, you can go for walks, and not have to worry about, again, running into somebody you've arrested and have to worry about your kids. It really is out in the country. It's very rural. And all our neighbors are very pleased, with us taking over this property. And
they feel safer now.
They keep an eye out too.
Yeah.
They probably feel safe that it's surrounded by firefighters, paramedics, and cops.
Yes.
They're like, wow, this is great.
Yes.
It's a great community out here.
It really is. And they keep an eye on things. So it's great.
Yeah. And when we come back from our next break, we'll talk about how people can go to your website and get access right now, even though you guys are in ready to start another phase of building. Stay tuned, everybody. We will be right back.
Rise and vibe with your new elevated morning ritual. Meet Rise by Frequency charged nutrition. Rise is formulated with a blend of 7 different organic mushrooms, B vitamins, amino acids, and green coffee bean extract. Rise supports brain health, performance, and focus while enhancing mood, mental clarity, and energy. Enjoy the delicious mango lemonade flavor while giving your mind the nutrients it needs. Get charged up with Rise. Fuel your body and mind today.
All right. Well, you hear John and I talk about it every week. Come and rise and vibe with us. Hey, I use Rise every morning as a pre-workout, and not only does it get me in the zone for the workout, but it takes me through the entire day focused. There's no up and down crashes like you experience with energy drinks, because this isn't an energy drink. This is a whole health drink. There is no sugar, so it's keto friendly, and it's it is all about increasing your levels of mental performance, brain health, energy, mental clarity, concentration, alertness, and even your mood. And so you can rise and vibe with us, and it's super easy. All you have to do is go to a badgeofhonorhealth.com. It's on the bottom of the screen there. That's a badgeofhonorhealth.com. We've got packages put together for you. You can subscribe and save. It ships directly to you. Set it up however you want, but let's get moving in a healthy way. No more, chugging these energy drinks over and over and over. It is literally, you hit the rise in the morning when you rise, hence rise, and you're good throughout the day. So again, rise and vibe with me and John. Visit a badgeofhonorhealth.com and get started today. Now back to the show.
All right.
We are back.
Welcome back. Welcome back,
Thank you.
Tammy and Dan. So you're expanding your retreat. That takes a lot of funds. Probably takes a lot of, tell us how people can either help donate to those funds to help you build the retreat, because I'm sure you're not government funded, right?
No, and we're trying to do to raise funds without any government grants and funding on that, because we are a non-for-profit. So we do depend on donations in order to reach each next stage of our development. We are determined not to do any loans throughout this process, but to get those funds in order to be able to build that next stage. And we're blessed to have a really awesome team that works with us. So we have opportunities to volunteer personally. We have a Mo team that comes out there regularly and find that the nature aspect is they do it because they love it and they can be out in nature. And then we have property volunteer times as well. And then just that opportunity to get out. But if you go to our website, that cornerstoneretreatcenter.com, then there's, if you go donate now, then you can learn how to either different ways you can donate. And that would be very helpful. And we would welcome it.
People can take advantage right now of gaining access to the site.
Yes, the website or the web, you on the website, but then also we have a reserve now spot on there. They can let us know what day and time they're going to be there. And so then we can do drive-throughs and we can check license plates. So we make sure we know who's on property. And then, we double check on who's there. It also gives us a tracking to allow us to know how many people and who is on property as well. So yeah, we welcome people to come out and let us know you're going to be there and enjoy it.
Now, the one thing that is, I know is concerning to a lot of first responders out there, everything that happens on his property, every time you run a plate or you vet a person that's coming on, it's strictly confidential. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is your escape. This is a place where a first responder can escape without and just be yourself and not worry about your department knowing anything. This is not a big thing for your department to even find out about. I'm going on a couple-day vacation. Peace.
Exactly. And when I say, and I just want to clarify, we're not like, police running plates. You have to register your license plate.
Yeah.
And so then we can verify that you are a first responder on there. And yeah, absolutely. It's all confidential. I mean, we are not a treatment center. We're a peer-to-peer, retreat center, a real place where you can just retreat, relax, reconnect, and revitalize. And so you're able to be the best first responder you can be. It's also open to retired first responders as well, as we know that these demons don't just disappear after you retire. In fact, they can intensify for some if you're not prepared for that next phase. So we want to make sure that we're caring for our retired brothers and sisters as well and their families.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me ask something, and I'm just throwing this out there. Are you biker friendly?
Well, I have a extensive background with bikers undercover. Was a motorcyclist myself for many, many years. We love bikers.
Yeah, good. Because I'm just wondering, I'm big into the biking community, and we do have a lot of Leo groups out there, a lot of law enforcement Leo groups out there that are also non-for-profits, but also want to benefit to help other organizations such as yourself. So I'm going to reach out to some of the nearby the LE clubs near you, get them in contact with you, and see, because between their veteran and their first responder networks, maybe they can also come check out the grounds and help you, because a lot of those guys are willing to support things that you were doing.
Absolutely.
I love that idea, John. We've actually worked with a couple of those groups. They've done fundraisers for us. So they're fantastic brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and you mentioned another aspect is that the property is available also. So if there's another first responder group that wants to utilize the property, we want to be able to open that up to them. So if they want to host a picnic, if they want to run, a training program, then those were available to those too. So if cops want to, come out, like, COPS cops want to host an event, we're open for that as well.
Oh, that's
Very
great.
interesting.
So,
Nice.
where do you guys play on social media? Because, we're in that world, and where can people connect with you?
Primary place is Facebook and Instagram, and then of course our website, and also LinkedIn. Yeah.
And it's all the same handle, or do you guys have different handles?
That is a great question. So
Yeah.
yes.
What's a handle?
What's a handle?
Broker19.
There you go.
But seriously, I found you. I tagged you guys on all the social media. So whether you guys are looking for Cornerstone Retreat Center on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and connect with Tammy and Dan Roach is their last name, individually on LinkedIn as well. And then what else did I do? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X. Sorry. LinkedIn, and
I think you covered them all.
Yeah, I think I covered them.
Yep.
I think I got you guys covered on everything.
Yep.
Well, like we said in the beginning, before we hit go live, this time was going to go by super fast. We can't thank you enough for coming on tonight, for just pouring yourselves, again, walking through the most painful parts of your life, Dan, Tammy being right there, experiencing it as well, and saying, you know what, we need to do something for our first responder community, being out there, but also still very visible in the departments. Thank you both so much for what you do, and for you really caring about the first responder community out there.
Well, and thank you for having us. We're grateful to be here, and thank you for your good work getting all the word out on all these great organizations.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We will be in touch. Have a great night.
You too. Happy St. Patty's.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's. I just love the concept. Tammy and Dan are phenomenal. Their backgrounds speak for themselves, and to have the experience that they have with the peer support is critical. So you're going to talk to people, been there, done that, got your back, totally understand. And so
I love the enthusiasm and the passion that they bring forth.
Absolutely.
It really makes you want to, it's upbeat. And that's what I like about it, because when we all see this dreary aspect of the real world, when you're able to retreat someplace and be in their presence, it really uplifts you. And
so check it out. Yeah, check it out. CornerstoneRetreatCenter.com. We've got summer is coming up, and it seems like we're ramping up instead of taking that summertime lull. But we have got an upcoming workshop on May 2nd here. If you are anywhere near the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, drive in. Thank you to Rowlett Fire Department for hosting us at their fire station number 2. I put up the registration is on the homepage. So go to our website at badgeofhonor.org. Click on register here. You can't miss it because it's going to block your whole screen. There's a method to the madness, right? So get yourself registered. It is 8 hours for you law enforcement folks. It's 8 hours of TCOL that's available. We got breakfast, we got lunch. All of the materials are covered there. So badgeofhonor.org and get yourself registered. And you know what else you can register for on our website? We talk about it all the time. Is Carry the Load. We are so blessed to be nonprofit partners with an organization that gives back to organizations that provide a continuum of care for our veterans, our first responders, our active duty personnel, and family members. You can find out more by going to our website at badgeofhonor.org, scrolling down to our partners and the resources, and you'll see Carry the Load's logo. Click on that. It'll take you to our page, and you can read about Carry the Load. If you want to join our team, you can join our team. Get yourself registered. Join us in Dallas at the Dallas Memorial March. But if you want more information, badgeofhonor.org, hit us up on our website. We'll be sure to get back to you. You may have seen our fundraisers out on definitely on Facebook. You'll see them out more on the different social media platforms here soon. To all your first responders out there, we are praying for you every single day. Thank you for what you do, keeping our communities safe. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention Responders Retreat. So different retreat center up in Wisconsin. Liz and Joe Bartholomew, they are welcoming first responders in September to their retreat. So registration is open. So first responders, get your butts up there and find some respite in a beautiful retreat setting. That's Responders Retreat, and you can go back. I think they were on 2 shows ago.
Yes.
Listen to that. To all of our veterans out there, thank you for putting the time in and fighting the good fight so that we can do a show like this every single week, even though we're vertical today. I don't know. We are praying for you as well. And thank you so much to the family members as well. To all the active duty personnel out there spread out across the globe, thank you for keeping our shores safe here at home. John, take us home.
You said it all, Sam. Once again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Garland Fire Department. And, once again, all our departments out there that are battling, use our show as a platform. Share it, like it, subscribe to a Badge of Honor. You don't know who you're helping by just clicking that one button and sharing it with a group of friends or people or other first responders. They may hear something on the show or see a life-saving technique or a modality that they're going to join, and you will be making a difference in their lives. Have a happy St. Patty's Day. Until next week, peace.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
A Badge of Honor podcast is produced for the OBBM Network podcast and protected under copyright law. For content permissions, please submit your request to abadgeofhonor.com on the content page. For OBBM Network programming information, please call 214-714-0495 today.